Hi everyone, how you doing? It is Wednesday at 3:04 p.m. Mountain Time, Wednesday, August 3rd. The price of Bitcoin is $23,361. The price of Ethereum is $1,648. And Giddy, why do I even mention Giddy anymore? Giddy is down because it's always down. It's at 4 cents. 4 flat. 4.009 to be precise. But that's not what we're going to talk about today, even though I'm wearing a Giddy shirt. There it is. Got that at a conference recently. It's a cool shirt. Kudos to their branding team, but didn't help the token price. Let's switch over to the big news. Michael Saylor is stepping away from his role as CEO of MicroStrategy and stepping into the newly created executive chairman role. This is not a role that existed before at MicroStrategy, a company that Saylor started in the 80s and has been CEO of this entire time. So this is a pretty big departure from him. It is in numerous ways very comparable to Jack Dorsey stepping away from Twitter. It would be easy to think that this was a move that others within the company forced on Michael Saylor because the price of Bitcoin is down. That would be an easy narrative to run with. I actually do not think that that is true. All of his public statements, and of course the company's as well, have been that this is a role that will allow him to focus on Bitcoin all the more and allow the actual strategy part of the company, the business intelligence business that they run, to be run by somebody else. This is going to be run by, let's see, what is the person's name? Phong Le, who's been at the company as CFO and COO. This is somebody with a great deal of experience that actually understands the business part of MicroStrategy very well and is more than capable of running it. So, Saylor said in this press release from MicroStrategy, released about 24 hours ago, I'll just read it from Bitcoin Magazine's Twitter account. It says, as executive chairman, I will be able to focus more on our Bitcoin acquisition strategy and related Bitcoin advocacy initiatives, while Phong will be empowered as CEO to manage overall corporate relations, Saylor said in the company statement. He also appeared on CNBC and repeated a lot of these talking points, and I don't think that they are just talking points. I think this is totally sincere. Saylor, if you haven't heard, Saylor is fully orange-pilled. He's a self-described Bitcoin maximalist. He has no hesitation to use that term. He talks about how Bitcoin is the future, how it's this incredible monetary innovation, that everything else pales in comparison to it. But that has not historically been the core business of MicroStrategy. So this is a big shift for the company. Hold on one second. I'm going to plug in my laptop that is clearly struggling right now. I thought I was already plugged in. Alas, I'm on vacation and things get moved around because we're charging multiple devices. That should help a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Saylor, as always, did great in this interview. If you want to check it out, I do highly recommend it. He retweeted this, so it's not hard to find him. Just go to @Saylor on Twitter. He also repeated some of the numbers to verify their stance that MicroStrategy is doing just fine. They're in no danger of being liquidated because of the price of Bitcoin being down. He says, since MicroStrategy adopted a Bitcoin strategy, its enterprise value is up 730% to $5 billion, and the MSTR stock, MicroStrategy stock, is up 123%. This is all happening while a lot of tech stocks are struggling. Amazon is down 14%, Meta is down 39%, Netflix is down 53%. So he is just putting it out there that, like, listen, if you think this is a move that's being taken by the company because we're in duress, that's not the case. And it's pretty clear that it's not the case. He really does just want to focus on Bitcoin and wants to have somebody else run the actual consulting business intelligence business. This is just like Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey did the exact same thing, stepped away from the company that he had been leading for many years to build something that he thought was bigger and more important. Adam Back, noted cryptographer and core contributor to Bitcoin, huge thought leader in the space, he said that it's been bugging me that the media is characterizing this as stepping down as CEO. No, he's not stepping down as CEO, he's stepping up as Chief Bitcoin Officer. No offense to the strategy business, but its job is to generate cash flow to service loans. That's why most of the MicroStrategy, why most buy MicroStrategy is exposure to the BTC treasury that they hold. That's why people buy the stock, is because they want exposure to Bitcoin. So let's talk about price. Bitcoin has reclaimed the 200-week moving average, and the trend is moving up as the 200-week typically does. In fact, as it's always done, I don't think the 200-week moving average has ever gone down. It has trended up at varying different degrees. So the price is now above the 200-week moving average. We always knew that it wasn't going to stay below for very long. From Rect Capital, one of my favorite follows on here. BTC has been at these prices for a while now, but we must not be tempted to underestimate them. These are bargain prices, as we shall see over the long run. Rect Capital, in our stream yesterday, suggests that we would, if history is any indicator, we would reach the bottom of this market this winter, fourth quarter 2022, beginning of November about. So now is a good time to be dollar cost averaging. You can try to find a lower point to strike on. You might not find it. Benjamin Cohen, who's a technical analyst here on YouTube, who does a lot of great technical analysis, he said he'd been stacking cash and a lot of his portfolio had been in cash until recently. Now he is still holding and stacking cash, but also he is buying Bitcoin. So he hasn't gone all in. He hasn't put all of his money in, but he is DCAing into Bitcoin at these prices, and he said he's increased the amount that he's DCAing with. From Documenting Bitcoin, comparing a couple different headlines. From CNBC on November 29th, 2021, Jack Dorsey's departure from Twitter gives him more time to focus on his passion for Bitcoin. From CNBC, August 2nd, 2022, MicroStrategy CEO Saylor moves to chairman role, focusing on strategy and Bitcoin. The implicit logic being that once you understand Bitcoin, it is the only thing you can think about, which is absolutely true for a lot of the maximalist crowd. I don't know if I fall into that crowd yet. It's really hard to say because there are definitely some cultural differences I have with the hardliners. I do think a lot about Bitcoin, a lot. I spend a lot of time talking about it. I spend a lot of time talking with friends about it, thinking about it, reading about it. I'd be lying if I said it was the only thing that I think about. Guys, I've got kids, I've got a family. I have a few other things that I'd be interested in that have nothing to do with money and the economy, turns out. From Arizonan Hodler, first Jack, now Saylor quit his job for Bitcoin. Oh, come on, bio, go away. American CEOs of prominent companies focusing all their time on Bitcoin, and they call this a bear market. Well, it is a bear market. The price is down, but everything else is up. Every other measurable indicator, every anecdote, every story, everything else is up. Bitcoin is dragged down by the broader crypto market and by the macroeconomic picture, but Bitcoin has not been hurting. Nothing in the Bitcoin world has been bad or down. None of the fundamentals are hurting or down. The price is down, but the price was dragged down by the surrounding variables. Also, the things just keep getting built on top of Bitcoin. El Salvador's banking platform Galoy has launched a Bitcoin-backed synthetic dollar pegged to the US dollar. This is interesting. It's not a token. It's not USD coin. It's not UST. It's not Tether. It is a token that uses a different mechanism to peg to the dollar and allows people in El Salvador, anybody using the Galoy software wallet, to save in dollars, to allocate into dollars, to spend dollars, and to send that over the Lightning Network. So if things are denominated in, if things are denominated in dollars, then that's just fine. You don't have to do the Sats conversion. The wallet will do it for you. My laptop's freaking out. Can't handle it. Can't handle all these tabs and the OBS streaming software. Hope we can get through it, fam. From Namcios. This is a verified account, but I don't know who this person is, and I have not previously looked at their stuff. I think they're a writer at Bitcoin Magazine, and I sure don't know how to pronounce that name. Technical writer, yeah. Here's everything you need to know about StableSats, a new tool that brings USD balances to Bitcoin Beach wallet users in El Salvador. A thread. It's not a very long thread. StableSats offers a stable dollar balance backed by Bitcoin through inverse perpetual swap contracts. It differs from common stablecoins because there is no token involved. Galoy's tech uses these contracts to stabilize the user's BTC in a dollar-denominated account. Here's a demo of USD on Lightning with StableSats. Now, I looked on Stacker News, and there are definitely people who are not thrilled about how this is implemented. The immediate rebuttal, the immediate concern, is that this relies on OKX. Okay, so the wallet pledges the user's Bitcoin as collateral to a centralized exchange, OKX in Galoy's case, to purchase these derivative contracts, which are used to hedge the BTC, backboning the dollar account in the wallet. Sure, there's nothing that could go wrong with using a centralized exchange, \S indicating sarcasm. There is absolutely something wrong. They're using centralized exchanges, it's dollar denominated, but this is the only way you can do dollars that they've found that works. Otherwise, you have a token. We've seen what can happen to algorithmic stablecoins. We've heard all the FUD about Tether and how that's not really backed by anything and increasing. It just feels very precarious to use something like Tether, even though the entire cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin included, relies on Tether. So if you concede that stable coins are needed in numerous instances, then, well, this might be a workable implementation, even though there are legitimate concerns about how it's implemented. I've yet to see an implementation of a stablecoin that is better objectively. What would be great is if we just went straight to sats, right? If it was the unit of account. But I think we've got a ways till we get there. You can do that in a very closed circular economy, but as soon as you're interacting and engaging and conducting commerce with people outside of that closed Bitcoin economy, you're going to run into other denominations and your whole system is going to suffer. That said, Bitcoin is still the future, and it's amazing to me that people like Kyle Samani seem to not believe that. Kyle Samani tweeted on May 8th, 2022, 100% probability that perception becomes Bitcoin as boomer coin, and that Solana, Ethereum, Aptos, etc. power the world. Yikes, Kyle Samani. I think there is a misconception here that Bitcoin is V1 cryptocurrency and something better is going to come along and overtake it. Not only is that not going to happen, there are numerous reasons why that cannot happen. You can't open Pandora's box twice. You cannot replicate the circumstances of Bitcoin's invention. You can't have the founder disappear. You can't have a community of people who don't recognize it as a monetary instrument, right? Bitcoin was around in development for a couple years before people even tried to conduct commerce with it. And when they did, it was more of a novelty than anything else. Now crypto, riding in the wake of Bitcoin, is widely recognized as a get-rich-quick scheme by those involved and those skeptical. You can't unteach those people those things. The mindset of the world is different. There's no going back to a pre-Bitcoin world. So no, you can't create Solana, Ethereum, Aptos, and expect those to fill the niche of money or currency better than Bitcoin does. It had what Michael Saylor calls an immaculate conception. Can't be duplicated. Purely by its place in history. Neil Jacobs, at Neil Jacobs, tweets and says, Boomer coiners going to sleep really well tonight because Bitcoin is doing just fine while Solana has gotten hacked. Solana has sustained a pretty serious hack in a long string of hacks, and people are leaving the ecosystem. Thousands of wallets have been drained. Details are still coming in about how this happened exactly. I actually have a Solana wallet because I won a single soul, one soul, which was at the time worth about $100. So I have the wallet. There's only about $4 left in there. Mine did not get hacked. It is still there. But zoom out, as I always say. In 2011, Bitcoin fell below $20. In 2015, Bitcoin fell below $200. In 2017, Bitcoin fell below $2,000. In 2022, Bitcoin fell below $20,000. So how many years is it going to be before we're falling below $200,000 and people are saying that Bitcoin is not working? It'll only be a few years, is my suspicion. And here are the different examples of it falling below a given price and people saying, oh no, the sky is falling. Zoom out, friends, zoom out. On the years-long scale, this is a network that just keeps growing and just keeps working. Cannot be turned off, cannot be hacked. Nobody has figured out how to kill it because I believe it is unkillable. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about that Solana hack again. If I can pull up the tweet. Whew, my laptop. This is struggling, you guys. Do I need to get one of those new MacBooks? Watcher Guru reports that over 8,000 Solana wallets have fallen victim to the ongoing hack, with more increasing by the minute. Yikes! So this was a hack that was, you could watch it happening. I don't believe it is still ongoing, but who knows? I could be totally wrong. Another day, another crypto hack. Everything other than Bitcoin becomes centralized or insecure by design. More on this soon. This coming from Jeff Booth, author of The Price of Tomorrow. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. All of these follow-ups, all of these copycats, all of these other cryptocurrencies that purport to do something more or better than Bitcoin, they have to do things that either centralize them or they are designed with malice at the expense of the user to enrich the people that created it. I think Ethereum falls into that camp. They built it so that they could get rich, and they have made numerous choices that have hurt their community. Sorry, ApeCoin is exactly the same way. I don't think you can go back. You can't undo what Bitcoin has done. It is a Pandora's box that has been opened. You cannot replicate the circumstances of its creation. Everything else that has come afterwards has fallen prey to that. Dr. Jeff Rose, pleb counselor at Valeshire Capital, he says, thankfully, Bitcoin and Solana have nothing to do with each other, and hopefully by now you understand that Bitcoin has nothing relevant to do with the broader crypto space. Understand this and you will do well. It's interesting that this is coming one day after the New York Times article discussing the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, big air quotes on crypto. We need better language around this stuff. It's frustrating that language gets perverted in political gamesmanship. It inevitably does, and when you've got so much at stake, this has absolutely happened here, right? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, broadly speaking, but it doesn't and shouldn't be associated with crypto as it's come to be known. This is a tweet from somebody sending their condolences out to the victims of the Solana hack. First of all, our hearts go out to the Solana community. Attacks like this affect not just the direct targeted system, but everyone in the space indirectly by eroding people's confidence in the space. Here's hoping for a quick clarification and recovery if possible. This Anon Laser Eyes Maximalist says, attacks like this don't hurt Bitcoin. If anything, these attacks help Bitcoin by getting more people to realize that they shouldn't mess with these insecure VC pumps and dumps and should instead hold their wealth in the hardest money ever created. I will say that that is absolutely true, but when there is a catastrophe in the other camp, it matters. It makes all the difference in the world how the maximalist crowd is going to respond. Are they going to say, ha ha, you idiot, you deserve it, you got cleaned out because you're a moron, rot in a gutter? Or are they going to say, I'm sorry this has happened. It was inevitable given that the network that you invested in was centralized and insecure. If you want to preserve wealth, which I believe you do, there is only one network capable of doing that, and it is the Bitcoin network. Here, come, join us. Let me help teach you about this. You can be open and inviting, or you can mock and ridicule people. And if you do the latter, they will not join you. It doesn't matter how right you are. So I hope that we can be an open and inviting crowd and not be mocking and ridiculing crowd. I would like to get as many people on the lifeboat as humanly possible. Charles Edwards on Twitter at Capriolio. Just take a look at that. Heck of a handle. Offers a tantalizing possibility why Bitcoin will decouple stocks and likely outperform. In the last 62 years, gold was the best returning asset in stagflation environments per Bridgewater Associates. If you're not familiar, Bridgewater Associates is largely regarded the best hedge fund on planet Earth, best performing over its life, founded and run by Ray Dalio, now a renowned author. The guy calling for the change in the global reserve currency. He's got a video with millions of views. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's also the name of his book. If you're watching this channel, you probably know what I'm talking about. I've certainly talked about Dalio at length in the past on this channel. You can just search Ray Dalio. You'll find it. But according to Bridgewater Associates, Dalio's firm, For the past 62 years, gold has been the best returning asset in a stagflation environment. But gold is being demonetized. We're seeing that happen. Gold has not performed well. And people criticize Bitcoin as having not performed well, but gold has performed demonstrably much worse. Gold is down. Gold is level to where it was like 11 years ago. So, what asset is most like gold? What asset is most like gold going into the next decade? It's not gold. It's Bitcoin. Going into the next decade, if we hit a stagflation environment and it's widely recognized as such, more money is going to flood into Bitcoin than gold. And I believe that will happen. Eventually, this decoupling will happen. I don't know what's going to trigger it. I don't know when it's going to happen. But Bitcoin cannot fulfill its destiny if it continues to act like a tech stock. It is not a tech stock. It is an independent network. So at some point, people are widely going to recognize that, and there's going to be a tipping point. I don't know when, but I don't really need to. Just keep stacking sats. That's what I got today, team. Hope you're having a great time. I'm going to get outside and go play with my kids because that is what they are doing right now. Have a good one. Bye.